And they was like, okay, you got a script? I'm like, no, but I got a book. You know, can we turn that into a script? And they was like, yeah. So we ended up meeting up, and they told me they would read the book. And if they read it and did not like it, I wouldn't hear from them. But to give them, I think it was a week. And if they liked it, they would reach back out. So on I think it was like the 6th day. And I was like, dang, they must didn't like it. It's cool, you know. But the wife ended up calling me, and she said, hey, my husband and I love the book. We want to work with you. And they asked me if I had a budget. I said, well, what was your budget? Right. And they told me. I said, well, that's my budget.
What up, though, Black Friday family? Welcome back to another installment of the Black Fridays podcast. Today, I have a guest in here, somebody who is in the industry that I want to learn a lot more about. Somebody who is a writer, a film producer, and a director, Miss Renika McQueen. How you doing today?
I am good. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you for pulling up on us on the podcast. So I have to dig into your area of expertise right away because I need to know and also help the people understand as far as producing a film, what exactly does that mean? Like, what is your responsibilities being a film producer?
Everything. No, it's a lot. So for me, I normally produce all of my own movies. So I am in charge of hiring. I'm in charge of the firing. I'm in charge of just making sure I got somebody for locations, scouting those. And if not, then it's me. I am in charge of, because I'm also the executive producer, which is the person over the film who writes the checks and stuff like that. So I'm in charge of making sure everybody gets paid and get paid on time. I'm in charge of hiring a chef for cooking for the cast and crew. Just a little bit of everything. Like when you're producing a film, you have a lot of responsibilities.
Nice. Yeah. And so because you dive into writing, you dive into producing, you dive into directing, can you distinct the differences between the three, because those are typically jobs of three different people depending on the project. Like you say, you might be doing all three, but typically on a set you're going to have people doing those individually. So can you talk about what's the difference in those jobs? Yeah,
so the director is normally the person who gives the actors the direction they want them to go in, how they want them to act the scene out. They do the rehearsals with them and things like that and make sure that they are off script and they know their lines for the movie and stuff like that. That's what the director normally does. Like I said, the producer is in charge of just getting the whole production together, the hiring and firing, and they normally report back to the executive producer, like, and just making sure everything is done. So I'm reporting back to myself. And with the film, so with directing, I just got into directing with my series. Before then, I always hired someone else to do it, which was Kamal Smith. He does an amazing job. I love his work. Yep. He's one of the top directors here, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to say in general.
Yeah, but Detroit legend for sure.
Yes, I love working with him, so I've always hired him. But I was like, you know what? I want to step into directing myself. I want to do my own thing and, you know, just see how it goes. And so I got into it, but I still had him on set as assistant director so that if I made any mistakes or if I felt scared or uncomfortable or anything like that, I knew he would have my back because we've been working together for so long now. Well, since I got into the industry. Yeah.
Super dope.
Yeah, an executive producer is the one who kicks out the bucks, the money, who pays for everything. You know, they have the budget and they get the money out for the budget. So they pay for the cast, the crew, the food, all of that type of stuff. They the person that kicks the bucks out. So I do all of it.
Okay. Is it similar to like a music producer where when I think about a music producer, they kind of, you curate the artist sometimes, you also may or may not make the beat, or you find the people to make the beat, and you kind of put the gumbo together, so to speak.
Yeah, I would think so. Like a music director does that, excuse me, I'm sorry. I would think that they do those things too. Yeah, kind of similar to what I do. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. So we also before I get into my favorite part of Black Friday, can you talk about the projects that you have out that you have been able to touch and give us a little bit more insights on those?
Yeah. So my very first movie was Deceitful Passions. It's a little bit hood, a little bit, you know, something you cannot watch with your children. I do not recommend it. It's for adults only. My second one was more of a suspense / like thriller. It's called Cain and Abel. It was something that I had started writing as a book. The name of it before I changed it to Cain and Abel was called My Brother's Keeper, and I changed the ending. And it is not biblical, but it does come from the story of the Bible about the brothers, you know, and the other one not liking his other brother and being jealous. So, and then my third one is A Family Divided, which is a family film you can watch with your children. I wanted to do something where families could watch it without covering their kids' eyes. They got to get out the room. People have kids, you know?
Yeah.
And I wanted to just show something that represented love and stuff like that. It still has drama in it, but there's no sex. I think there's only like one curse word. And there's no violence. Nobody's getting killed or anything like that. But it's about a family having to make a decision about two of their children that causes them to have to pick between one or the other in a medical situation.
Okay.
And so it's kind of deep. Everybody that has watched it, they loved it. They say that they cried and it was just so emotional. And just to think about if you're a parent having to make that type of decision when you love all of your children, but you got to pick between the two, you know? So, yeah, I want to do something different. And then I have a series. It's called The Stranger in Our House. It should be coming out any day. I'm just waiting on Tubi to let me know when they're going to release it. And that is a thriller or whatever about a black serial killer. Yeah.
Nice. So you've been working.
Yeah, I've been working, I guess. I've been working. I could work a little bit harder, though. But I've been working. Yeah, I've been working.
As long as you're working, that's what matters.
Yeah, and I'm doing something that I really enjoy, so it don't feel like work.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I'm going to touch on your background a little bit more in terms of, because you've been in the industry for 5 years now, officially.
Yeah.
And then, so we'll talk about, you know, how you kind of ended up taking that path. But first, I want to introduce you to my favorite part of Black Fridays, which is Freestyle Fridays. So, Renika, you're going to have to give us like 8 bars, 4 bars, whatever you can do for us. If you could bless the microphone and, you know.
Now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do you got bars? You got some?
I used to back in the day, but it's been so long. Let me see. Bars of... Is it bars of rap, bars of poetry? I mean, what I am...
You got a poem?
I could freestyle something off the top of my head, I guess.
Let's see. I'll give you out too, so you can do that, or we can do rapid fire questions.
We can do what is it?
Rapid fire questions. So just random assortment of questions.
Oh my God. And then it's going to let people know how much education I have.
No, I'm not going to ask you to name all the presidents, nothing like that.
Okay. Yeah. Do me, oh my gosh. Just pick one for me.
All right, we're going to do rapid fire.
Okay.
No pressure at all. So, first, I would like to know, what would you say is your favorite movie of all time? And no, you cannot mention any of your projects.
Okay, I wasn't going to do that anyway. My favorite of all time, you know what? One movie that I really, really love and is with Denzel Washington, where he plays the gangster, Frank.
American Gangster.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, I can watch that over and over again. And I'm not a person that likes to watch movies repeatedly, but I have never gotten bored with that. It's just something about it I love. He's so smooth in that movie. Yeah. You know, so I love it.
Forgot you were watching Denzel for a minute.
Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, Denzel. Yeah. So I like that.
Dope. Do you have a favorite music video that kind of plays like a movie? So, you know, Michael Jackson was famous for stuff like that.
I would say Thriller. When I was a little girl, I've always loved like scary movies and things like that. And I just remember watching that in school sometime around Halloween and just different things. And just recently I introduced my 6-year-old to Michael Jackson and had him watch it. And just sharing that memory with him, it just brought back a lot of good childhood memories for me. So I would say Thriller. I like Thriller.
That's fire.
Yeah.
The one music video I remember, my earliest memory of music videos was Remember the Time, Michael Jackson.
Do you remember?
Fire.
I love that song, though. I love
song and the video is just fire.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So you told me that before we started recording that you were also a fellow podcast host. Do you have any podcasts that you like to listen to?
You know what? I don't have anyone that I like to listen to in particular. I like to listen to a lot of different ones. I am not a big fan of the ones that talk about relationships all the time because I feel like people give a lot of advice about how you should be at home, what you should do with your person and stuff like that. And what works for your household may not work for mine.
Yeah.
I do believe in loving your person in their love language. And I also believe in loving them the way you know how. And if you can combine the two and it makes them happy and it makes you happy, you know how they say happy wife, happy life? Mm-hmm. I believe in happy spouse, happy house. Mm-hmm. That's what I believe in.
I like that.
And so you could take a little bit of the advice that they give you on the relationship podcast, but you don't want to lean on it too much, because then what works for someone else may not work for you. And now your house is in disarray. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But anything that motivates me, that educates me, that is teaching me about something I did not know, something that helps me improve me or anything like that, or just education in general, I love those ones. Those are the ones that I like.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
And do you have any personality or celebrity or anyone that you would love to work with on a project that you haven't got a chance to work with just yet?
I want to work with Issa Rae.
Okay.
I love her.
Shout out to Issa.
I love the way that she is just who she is. She's herself. She looks like she has a great time. You hear me?
Yeah.
You know, I follow her on Instagram, and so I be on her stories and stuff, and she's on the boat having a good time. And she just looks like she's always enjoying life and herself. You know what I'm saying? And she's not being fake. She speaks unapologetic. You know what I'm trying to say. I don't know why I'm tongue-tied today.
Unapologetically.
Yeah. She for her people.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I love that.
You know, her stuff gonna be blackity black.
Yeah. Yes, and I love that about her. So yeah.
Dope.
Yeah.
And you're also a writer. What's one of your favorite books that you've ever read?
One of my favorite books that I've ever read, and I know this is probably like, oh, everybody reads, have read that book, but I would say The Coldest Winter Ever.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like The Coldest Winter Ever. I have been reading for years, like since I was a little girl. I used to read Sweet Valley High books and all of that type of stuff, but it was something about The Coldest Winter Ever that just woke up something in me, and after that, I was like reading books like left to right even more. Or whatever. So I think just with reading, you got to find something that fits you or something that you like. Because you know, a lot of people say they don't like to read, but I think it's because they haven't read the right thing yet.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Got you.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate you for participating in Freestyle Fridays. You did a great job.
Next time I come, I'm going to get on here like...
Right. Yeah. Next time we got to get some bars.
Yeah.
So I wanted to transition back into learning more about the media industry and then also the film industry that you've been a part of thus far. And so you had a 17-year career as a corrections officer.
Yes.
And then you also had mentioned that you were a writer, you were an author at some point in time. So did those two did your passion for media and storytelling overlap when you had that career as a corrections officer? Or where did that kind of start for you to know that you wanted to be involved in this side of media entertainment?
So writing was something that started for me when I was a little girl. I've always been a writer. I've always journaled. I've always, wrote short stories, different things like that. Corrections was a job, a career that paid my bills, Blue Cross Blue Shield, dental vision, stuff like that. So while I was there, I never lost my passion for writing. I would write at work, short stories, different things like that. I was working midnights for a lot of years, most of my career. And while I was on midnights, I started to write this one particular story. And so my partners, it was like the thing I would do on midnights to stay awake in between my rounds. And so my partners that would work with me would read it as I wrote it. And they like encouraging me, like, keep writing so they can have something to read. They were interested in where the story was going, the direction. And so I ended up finishing it, and I self-published it, and I had it in Barnes & Noble's in Grosse Pointe in their actual store. I had a few copies in there, but I had it online. I did a book signing there, a few other places and stuff like that. Then I kind of put the writing down because, I had children, I was working, getting mandated a lot, I had a husband, and just life was life. And I kind of put it behind me. But what happened was with the film industry, how I got into film. In 2017, I went to a movie premiere for another director from the city of Detroit, and it was their very first film. And when I got there, and I saw all of us looking all beautiful, dressed to the nines, hair fried, dyed, laid to the side, and I was like, oh my God, a red carpet and everything. I was like, I want to do this. So after the premiere was over, I reached out to that director, asked him, hey, I want to make a movie. I had never thought about it in my life, but I was like, I want to make a movie. And they was like, okay, you got a script? I'm like, no, but I got a book. Can we turn that into a script? And they was like, yeah. So we ended up meeting up, and they told me they would read the book. And if they read it and did not like it, I wouldn't hear from them. Mm-hmm. But to give them, I think it was a week. And if they liked it, they would reach back out. So I think it was like the 6th day. And I was like, dang, they must didn't like it. It's cool, But the wife ended up calling me, and she said, hey, my husband and I love the book. We want to work with you. And they asked me if I had a budget. I said, well, what was your budget? Right. And they told me. I said, well, that's my budget, because I don't know anything about this. And I just took off from there, And I've been going ever since. And what I realized in the midst of doing that one film was that was my passion, because it gave me a joy that I had never felt from any other job or any other thing that I had done, Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I fell in love, and now I'm just stuck.
Yeah.
In a good way, though.
Of course.
Yeah.
At what point did you make that separation to say, you know what, I'm done with this part of my life, and then now I'm going to dive into this aspect of it? Like, was that a tough choice for you to make to, step away from that comfort of having that job?
Yes, it was a very tough decision. And so it's crazy because people will reach out to me now like, I know you quit your job to do film wholeheartedly and stuff like that, so I want to quit my job. And I'll be like, wait a minute now. Wait a minute, get your money, because at the end of the day, your situation may be different from mine. I was bringing in a nice amount of money from Deceitful Passions at this point in 2021. And not only that, my house was paid for. I had a husband who has his own business. So I just had something to fall back on if it did not work out, So I don't want to encourage someone to do something that may not work for them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't follow your dreams, but I'm saying be smart when you decide to follow them. Come up with a financial plan, save, pay off your debt, do the things that you need to do. Then if you want to walk away from the job and you want to go after your dreams, do it. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people say, well, I was homeless, living in my car, and I was doing this and doing that because I gave up everything. And that's fine for them. But do you want to go through that? What if you have children?
Right.
Now, it's easier if it's just you and you don't got to worry about feeding the babies and nothing like that. Then, hey, struggle, be in your car, wash up, whatever it is that you want to do at the gas stations, but you can't have the kids out there like that. But, but the main thing that happened was I did Cain and Abel, and it involved correction officers, and at the time I was one. And so when somebody who I thought was a good friend of mine's at the facility came to my movie premiere, he went back to work and he put in paperwork against me saying that I was demeaning the Department of Corrections and all of that type of stuff. And it just really hurt my feelings, when I found out about it. And so, they were trying to question me about it. And with corrections, you have to have permission to have a second job. So that would have been like a second job for me. And at that point, I was just like, you know what? If they tell me because of this clown that I can't do my movies or whatever, I'm not picking between corrections and my movies. So I just made a conscious decision at that time to pick my filmmaking career. I talked to my husband about it. I talked to my dad about it. And after that, I decided, and I came into work one day on a Thursday, put in my 2-week notice, but I didn't even give them 2 more weeks. That was it for me. Yeah. That day I typed it was it.
Peace.
Yeah. And I just been going ever since. God has been really good to me. So, yeah.
And I wanted to ask you in terms of, so you mentioned, of course, if you can, to your best of your ability, get your financial structure in order, get your situation in order before you kind of make a big leap like that. But in terms of sticking on the topic of the money and structure, Help me understand that for like an independent film producer like yourself, or who may work with, smaller companies, things like that. How does the pay structure work? Because you had mentioned from Deceitful Passions, you had been able to get into a position where it was favorable for you financially, but obviously I know it's money that goes into it and upfront. How does that work from being able to fund the project to profit from a project?
Okay. So for me, and I think it will be different for everyone else depending on how they go about funding theirs, because some people do fundraisers and they raise money that way. Some people already have money and decide to get into the filmmaking industry. I did not have the money saved for my budget at the time. It was $25,000. So what I did was continue to work. I was getting mandated anyway, so I was getting a lot of overtime. I went into my 401k. I didn't get my hair done. I didn't get my nails done. I was out here raggedy. But I just was determined to get my movie done. That was more important to me than going out, looking cute, eating out, hanging out. And so it just worked out, and God did it for me. I didn't want to ask anybody for anything, not even my husband, because I wanted this to be something of my own. Now, toward the end, I did go to him. I think I needed probably like $5,000 or something like that. But for the most part, I just took care of it. I worked, did what I needed to do. Like I said, went into my 401k. And then, so after that, once my distribution company, because the distributors who got my movie out on the streaming networks for me and stuff. So every quarter you get paid. So you can get paid nothing. You can get paid $10,000, $20,000, $100,000. It just depends on how much your movie is getting watched, And so my movie was doing well. Every quarter I was getting in a nice amount. The first quarter I made my money back. So that was a blessing, because I asked God, I'm like, God, now I'm broke now. I didn't, did everything I could. And I asked him, I said, can I at least get 5,000 of my dollars back? And just put it in my bank account so I can have a little cushion. And God said, no, I'm going to give you way, 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 way more than that. And so that's what he did. And so I was just very blessed. And then the next quarter, it went up. The next quarter, it went up. And so the Deceitful Passions just did really well for me. And so that's how it works. And when you get your money every quarter, you can take it and put it back into, filmmaking or whatever. And you find ways to utilize your resources. Maybe not have to spend so much this time, or maybe you do because you want to improve with each film, and the people that you work with may charge a little bit more. So it just depends. I think it's different for everyone. Yeah.
And how do you come up with your budget in the first place? You said it was $25,000, but how were you able to gauge exactly how much it was going to cost?
So that budget, the first time for Deceitful Passions, the $25,000, I just went off what the other director told me their budget was.
Okay.
And I had no clue about filmmaking, how it went or anything. They showed me the breakdown of what we would spend on food, what we would spend on hair, what we would spend on if we needed to rent a house and different things like that. So like for me now, just knowing, because I have people that I like to work with on a regular, pretty much how much they charge. So I will know how much they charge. I can write that down. I try to utilize some of my own properties and homes and different things like that. So I don't have to get an Airbnb. But if I do, then it is what it is. Each Airbnb may be a different price. You normally try to hook up with people. Let's say if you need to film at a hair salon, or if you need to film at a coffee shop or something like that, you hook up with people who have small businesses in a city. They want facility or their space or whatever it is that they have to be seen, so you can hook up with them. You might not have to pay them, or exchange a favor for a favor, and just things like that. So it just depends. Like I said, everybody's budget will be a little bit different depending on the resources that you have. If you using all your own cars, you don't gotta rent no car. If you're using all of your own jewelry or different things like that, or if you go to the beauty supply, you know what I'm saying, and things like that. If you're doing wardrobe, you can go to the thrift store. You can find stuff. You can put it in the cleaners. It just really depends on you. You know what I'm saying? And just my thing is work smart, not hard. You know what I'm saying? And so, and utilize every one of your resources that you can before you have to pull money out of your pocket.
Of course. And in terms of, you had mentioned with the streaming platform, or you were mentioning how you get your residuals back per quarter. Is that through the streaming platforms, or how does the payout structure work once you have completed these movies and you put the money up for it, and then now you waiting for the money to come back?
So being that I am the executive producer and I normally don't have any partners, I haven't partnered with anyone yet or anything like that. Every quarter when the streaming services pays your distribution company and they pay you, and then the distribution company, they get a percentage for doing some of the work that they do. The rest comes to you. And so now that is my money because I haven't partnered with anyone. But let's say I have a partner or something like that. Whatever deal we've working out, it may be 50-50, it may be 80-20, it may be 40, you know, just whatever it is. So it just depends. But by me not partnering with anyone, every quarter when I get my payout is for me.
Fire.
Yeah, well, for my kids. And
of course, you know, you got to break them off a little something.
Yeah.
So in terms of, all right, so now as a person who watches a lot of Tubi, I've seen a lot of Tubi projects. I'm a big proponent of Tubi. I love the independent filmmaking, especially the films and TV shows and things that have come out of Detroit. I feel like we set the wave for Tubi because you see a lot of people that, or independent, because before Tubi blew up, it was a lot of stuff that went to Amazon Prime or with like independent streaming platforms, things like that. So I think that we set a wave for kind of like what the structure and the flow is right now. And so I wanted to know, why is there such a difference between, because I've seen really good stuff or good stuff on Tubi. I've seen really bad stuff where, you know, people with clothes changing 6 times in the same scenes. Like, why is there such a distance in between some of the more quality things that you would see versus less quality things that you see? And let's say everything is the same, like the film quality, how it looks, how it sounds, all that stuff is equal. But in terms of like the production, so to speak, like why is there such a huge gap in terms of how good the content is?
So I would say it could be several reasons. One, people they don't have the money that they need to have to make it, but they just jump out there and say, I'm gonna do it anyway. And they get with some people, you know, they may get with some friends that they know who know how to work the equipment, but not, you know, 100%, but they're learning. They could have just got out of school or anything. And they say, we still gonna, you know, make this film. We're still going to try. And then after each one, they get better and better because guess what? They're learning. Mistakes teach you a lot. You know what I'm saying? And then you may have some people who are just in it and throw anything together just to say, I made a movie, because some people want it for the popularity to say that I made a movie, but they don't really care about how it looks. They don't care about the production. They don't care about the coloring, the editing, the sound. They don't care. They're just putting something together so they can pop their collar and be like, yeah, I made a movie, you know. Right. And then you have other people who may put the money behind it, pay a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? They go off what they can afford each film. So you might also see the quality of their film improve, you know, with each production. And as the money start rolling in, instead of them like, oh, I'm just going shopping, I'm spending all my money, they're like, you know what, I'm taking this and I'm going to continue to put it into my future films and getting better and better. It really just depends on the people who are making the movies, you know. And then there's, like I said, some people don't have the budget at all, but they still get their cell phone out. You know, I've heard people say, I made it right on my iPhone. I don't know how to do that. But people, you know.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's possible. And so they do it because they just taking a chance. And then at one point, before Tubi got a new owner or whatever it is that they have over there, they was just taking whatever you submitted to them and they was, you know, streaming it. But now they have gotten a lot stricter over there. So when you submit your films to them, it must have a certain quality, a certain sound, a certain, you know, because they're trying to move up and get away from you know, the negative
stigma,
of what's been geared toward them. They're trying to get away from it themselves, which I think is cool, because for me, I want to improve with each movie that I make, you know, each thing that I do. So I'm happy to have more people on Tubi who has the same mentality or thoughts that I have toward filmmaking, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to someone just like, I just want a quick dollar. That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
You know.
So you can tell based on like how some of the, like I said, you know, you may see somebody change shirts 6 times in the same scene.
Yeah.
Like the attention to detail and how much they care.
Because they don't know about wardrobe. They haven't taken the time to learn. They just like, man, change, put this on. I want you to wear this and this and that. I want him to be fresh. I want him to have this on. So they don't know that, you know.
You got to keep the same fit on until the scene is done.
They haven't learned that. They don't know. So they just doing what they do. You know what I'm saying? But you know good and well you ain't changed 6 times in one day, you know. So
some people do. Yeah. Man, so they might be going based off of real life.
Yeah. If you in that life, you know, then but they haven't learned the process. They haven't been taught. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They haven't been around people who really know the process of filmmaking.
Like traditional filmmaking.
Yeah.
And I got to ask you this. Do you feel like some films are, or some projects are intentionally made bad? Like we gonna put out the craziest thing that we can because we feel like that's our audience and that's who we're trying to go after?
I feel like people do that too because they feel like people are gonna watch it just to dog it. Because I hate to say this, and I love my people, I love us dearly, but some of us are so negative. And so we may put a movie on there that's awesome, and they like, I ain't watching that. But if I make something and it's horrible and people are dragging it in the Tubi group and other things, then they gonna watch it. I'm finna watch it and see, so they can jump on the bandwagon, kind of dog you and drag you too. Yeah. So you have some people that be like, you know what, I'm gonna make that because it's gonna make money. The more people that watch it, just to dog it, drag it, talk about it, now they making money, and you know, so they knew what they were doing when they did that. So if I can
get you to talk about it, good or bad,
I'm gonna get that money.
I'm winning.
Yeah, I'm winning. Yeah, so that's pretty much what. Yeah. Yes. Intentionally, yes. Yeah.
So is that why we see like a lot of the quadruple plot twists where, you know, it's just something like the ending just got to be as crazy as I can think of in my head? Like, is that why we get some of that?
Yeah, sometimes. Or sometimes I'm going to just tell you, life, you know, that could be maybe something someone has experienced in real life. By me working for the prison system for 17 years, I've heard stories that I'm like, what? Yeah. What's normal to me and you is not someone else's everyday normal life. You know what I'm saying? So us getting up, being able to take a shower, eat some food, cereal, you know, jump in our car, clean, all of that. There are some people who have never experienced that from the womb. You know what I'm saying? And when you talk to them and they tell you the stories of how they lived and what they've been through, and it's normal to them, and now they have children and they do the same thing and they kids think it's normal, you know, you're like, what? That's not normal. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it just depends. It could really be something that they've experienced. If they didn't experience something they homeboy experienced or anything. So
it could be very well based in reality, even as crazy as it might be. As
crazy as it might be, it could be their reality, their true reality. Yes.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, no.
So I want to see if I can put you on the spot a little bit. You did it for us earlier in terms of just kind of like pitching us an idea of if we wanted to get in the film industry, but I wanted to see if we could take it from idea to actually upload it on streaming platforms or let's say movie premiere. If you could, I'm trying to see if I could think of a concept and then see if you could kind of like take us through the process. So let's say I have an idea to do a film. It's about a guy from Detroit. He wants to become an author and he has trials and tribulations in terms of doing that because he wants to put out a book about the family history. The family ain't really feeling it, but you know, you're trying to persevere and make it through. So let's say that's my idea. I come to you, I say, Renika, I want to get this on. I want to get this on the streaming platforms. Like, what is the process for me to get that accomplished?
So when you come to me and you say you want to get it on a streaming platform, first I'm going to ask you, are you asking me to work with you, to be your producer, or you just want the advice from me? If you just want the advice from me, then I'm going to give you the advice. I may put you in contact with the people that you need to work with. So I may put you in contact with Kamal Smith to direct it if he's interested. I'll put you in contact with the DP, the person to film the movie for you. I'll put you...
What does DP stand for?
director of photography.
Okay.
Or the cinematographer, which is the person who will film it with the camera.
Gotcha.
I'll put you in touch with someone who does sound. So that's the person that comes on set and they're going to do the sound for you. And then you have the person that do the boom that holds looks like a microphone kind of up, or whatever. Just I'll put you in touch with everybody you need to be in touch with, and you get in touch with them and see if they want to work with you. I'll tell you how to do a casting call to get the people you want to be in the movie and just stuff like that. But if you would want to specifically work with me and have me produce it, I will ask you, like, why do you want to do the movie? Do you want to do it for money? Do you want to do it because it's your passion and different things? Because I'm going to be honest, being that my name would be a part of it as the producer, whatever the case may be, I may not accept it because our vision is different.
Yeah.
And I like my stuff to be to a certain quality, to the best quality that I can afford. And I would want your project to be that as well. And you may say, no, I don't care about the quality. It could look raggedy. The sound could be crackling, all of that.
Yeah.
I just want to make it and I just want to put it out. And I'm going to say, that's not for me. You know what I'm saying? So, but I would definitely tell you about distribution, everything you need to know, the streaming networks, how the payout goes. I will give you a lot of information, even if I decide not to work with you on it, but it's something you want to do. I am not a person who gatekeeps and withholds information. I'm going to give it to you. Here, take it and do what you will and see how it works out for you.
Right.
And I wish you the best of luck.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Do people come to you for consultations? Like, do you charge for consultations?
You know what? I was not charging at first. I've had so many come to me for consultations, and I've sat on the phone an hour, 2 hours, different things like that. And then I started saying, wait a minute now. I'm giving out a lot of information and giving it out for free. And somebody else who's giving you this information, they'll be texting you. And not that I want to text you, but my time is still valuable at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? But I'm getting ready to produce someone's first film right now in September. We start filming September the 1st through the 10th. So it just has to fit. And not only that, the person who's doing the project, I need to feel like you have good energy and that you're a good person. And I don't want to work with you if I feel like you have a bad spirit, you don't have good energy, or if you don't do good business, because that's another thing. My name, our name is really big. That's one of the things that we have. And your name could make you or break you. It could take you a long way. So
let me ask you about that, because I know in the industry, a lot of people get bad raps for showing up to set late, not, being prepared when they're there, and just having bad attitudes. Might be a prima donna or diva or whatever you want to call them. How do you kind of like regulate that on your sets? Like, how do you set the tone to say, like, this is our expectations here of each other. This is how we all gonna make sure that we work together to get the best product.
So one of the things that I may do differently from some other people, I don't know, but as the executive producer, they normally say, like, you talk to everybody but the executive producer, because they the boss. You could talk to me. What's up? Because I'm coming to talk to you, and I'm going to tell y'all when we first come together, even at the table read before we start the film, hey guys, be on time. Kamal is going to tell you that. And then we start off normally everything we do, even if we're rehearsing, we start off with prayer, and we pray just over the whole production. We pray for everybody, just your attitude, anything that you're going through, so you'll get to see the vibe when you come anyway, like, oh, okay, this is what we on. And I'm going to give you respect, and I ask that you respect me. I'm going to talk to you about being on time and things like that, and just picking up the phone, giving me a call, letting me know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to make you laugh. And if we're at a point where you're not filming, we're not gossiping, go ahead and rehearse your lines and make sure you don't mess them up. Make sure you're off script and things like that. Just try to keep it as positive as you can. And so far, that has been what it's been like for me. Yeah.
And speaking of the vibes on the set, what does a typical day on the set look like? I know it could vary because you could be filming different scenes or have different cast members there or not there, but what does a typical day look like from when you show up, if you're the executive producer and, you kind of structure everything and managing everything?
So when I show up, like I'm normally the first person to get to, let's say we're filming at an Airbnb or whatever the location is. I'm normally the first person to get there because I'm normally the one opening up the building, the space, or the house. And if it's not me, I have a cousin that I lean on a lot too. And I might get him the code to get in or something. I say, cuz I'm gonna be not there at this time. Can you get over there and get it done? I'm making sure it's donuts, it's coffee, it's some type of breakfast there, so if you didn't eat, you can grab something to eat. When I do get there and I see you, I'm giving out hugs. Hey, good morning. How's your day? You ready? You know what I'm saying? If you want to go over your lines with me, just anything like that, everybody's coming in. They're speaking. They're saying hello. They're getting set up and everything. Hair, makeup coming in. We're just on point. We're moving. We're getting it done. Whatever needs to be done, we come right in and we're getting it done. Once everybody has got their hair, makeup, the lights are set up, everything is set up for us to get started, and we can start the first scene, the first shot, then we pray before we do it. And then once we pray, it's on and popping. Yeah.
And how long is a set day usually for you?
You know what? It could be like anywhere from 8 to 12 hours. Yeah. Yeah. And then it depends. If, let's say, I've had a time where we were only shooting at one particular place and it just took us a couple of hours. So we might have been there for about 4 hours and then we were out of there. But if it's a full day of shooting, it could be 12 hours. I've known people to shoot for 15 hours. It just depends. But if your cast is on point, they know their lines and different things like that, and nothing goes wrong, your day can end earlier than what you even planned for it to end. So it just depends on the whole cast and the crew and how they work together and get things done.
And how long does the filming part of the production usually last? And then how long does editing last once you wrap up?
So you could be doing a 10-day shoot, 12, 15. It just depends. When I did my series, we only shot on the weekends. We shot Friday, Saturday, and Sunday because everybody worked and had stuff to do throughout the week. So that was a several month process because we were only shooting on the weekends. And after that, once you're done with that, let's say if you have a 10-day shoot, depending on the time that the editor has, they may say, I can start next week or tomorrow. And they may say, I can be done in 30 days or something like that. So once they get that done, then you're moving on to the next thing. It just really depends on what the other person has going on, what the editor has going on, what the sound mixer has going on, what the colorist has going on. If they don't have anything else going on and they can work on your project immediately, it could be done pretty quickly.
Okay.
But then there's been times, shoot, it might take you a year because you're waiting on a specific person that you like to do the work. They may be booked and busy, or you're just trying to find someone if you don't know anybody. It just it's different for everybody. I'll say that. Yeah.
Got you. And in terms of what you have on the horizon, you mentioned that you have your series coming out soon and it could be dropping any day now. Do you have any other projects that you have in the chamber that you might be able to let us know about, or things that you would like to see or like to work on in the near future?
Yeah. So I have 4 scripts at home that are done. And one day, probably next year, I'm going to pick one of them up and get started. I'll just say that. And the reason why I'm saying next year is because I'm getting into other things with business. I just bought a building, a space myself. So I'm working on getting that completed, trying to figure out what I want to do with that because God gave me the vision, but not a super clear one. You know what I'm saying? And so I had several different ideas. So I'm just trying to see what I'm going to do with that. And then, like I said, the young man whose project I'm producing starts September the 1st. I'm going to be with him from pre-production, like now, through production, through post-production. You know what I'm saying? All the way up until movie premiere time, maybe even helping him with that and stuff like that. So I'm going to be pretty busy with that. And then it's going to be wintertime. It's going to be cold. My birthday is going to be in November. I may want to travel. So, and then Christmas. And so I just don't want to put anything else on me for the rest of the year. I want to kind of just enjoy my family, promote what I have out, promote my series, promote my other 3 movies, just travel, enjoy my family for the rest of the year. And I'll do small things. Like I'm even in other people's films. I have like 3 minutes of fame, so, little things like that. And then next year I'll probably be on and popping.
Got you.
Yeah.
Can me and the wife pull up to one of these film sets one day?
Y'all can pull up before I get started. Okay. If y'all want to pull up, I know some great people doing great things. I know that your wife mentioned that she just wanted to know about that and stuff like that. Mm. And I'm sure they would love to have y'all. They will welcome y'all. And y'all can pull up anytime.
Yeah, I want to get the behind the scenes experience.
We're going to do a movie about what y'all got going on y'all podcast. Hey, y'all want to get y'all first movie out? Listen, because your wife and your energy was amazing when I came in and met y'all.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Thank you.
So, do you have any words of encouragement for people who want to get into the film industry, whether they want to write, whether they want to produce, they want to act? Anything, any words of encouragement for folks who want to do what you do?
The biggest words I have is do it. Find people, connect with people. If you're on social media, connect with people who are in the city, out the city. If you're willing to travel, if they welcome you with open arms, go on set, learn, be an intern for a day, learn what you can, see what it's like, but definitely network. Network makes a big difference when you're trying to do business and get out there and get your foot in the door. Network with people. Shoot a message in somebody's DM. You know what I'm saying? Don't be scared. Just do it. That's my words of encouragement. Do it. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So, Renika, really appreciate this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I love the work that you're doing. And I haven't checked out your films yet.
That's okay, but I know you will.
However, I've heard positive reviews about two of the projects for sure.
Much.
So I definitely have to make sure that I go check those out, and really appreciate you kind of pulling the curtains behind the scenes and giving us a glimpse into how this whole thing works, especially in the landscape of kind of like in the Detroit landscape or in our local market, because like I said, I feel like we've set the trend for what a lot of independent film and production looks like on these streaming platforms. And Detroit sets the waves for a lot of things, and I appreciate you being part of that wave and trying to push the industry forward.
And I appreciate you watching and supporting, because that's what independent filmmakers need. Not just myself, but all independent filmmakers, especially the ones here. Watch it. Just watch it. Even, how you turn on the TV and you let something play, you could be cleaning up. And it doesn't have to be our independent film. I mean, just anything. Let it play. Stream it. You know what I'm saying? And let the numbers go up. And so that's what we need. And that's what if people say, we want to see better quality. Well, if you want to see better quality, we got to get better money. So, just stream it, let it play. And then we're able to take that money and better ourselves. At least the ones who want to will. Let me say that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Y'all heard what the woman said. Make sure that y'all stream Renika's projects and also other independent filmmakers on the major streaming platforms, and then also stream the podcast. Help a brother out. And make sure y'all tap in on Black Fridays. Check out the episode if you're watching on YouTube that came out previously. And then if you listen, make sure that you go and check out the episodes that you haven't streamed just yet. So appreciate you again, Renika, and everybody listening. We're going to tap in with y'all soon. Peace.
Thank you.